Okay, let's get it going here on a Tuesday. So glad you are with us. It's the live version of Longshore and McKnight here early on a Tuesday. If you're watching throughout the day or listening, we greatly appreciate that as well. Barry, we have found that more people consume it that way. After we wrap up the live version every morning, we have gotten so much response after the show wraps up, which we're very happy about.
We make it as simple as we possibly can for everybody. If you like listening to us live, if you're sitting right now settling in with a cup of coffee, hey, welcome in. It is, as we're talking, it is 7:01 on Tuesday morning. If you are watching in later on, hey, we're glad you're with us. Maybe it's word of mouth. Man, you have got to hear what Longshore had to say about such and such and so and so. Or if you're like Chris the Bammer and you're watching us and Maria Bartiromo, evidently, because he sure does let us know that he thinks Maria Bartiromo is the bee's knees. You can do that as well. We're easy with all of that. And like John said, we're appreciative that you're just checking us out. Thanks, sir. Yes.
You're right about that. Very full slate of SEC basketball games tonight, except for two teams. Interestingly, there'll be one game tomorrow, but the bulk of the SEC will play tonight, or late afternoon and tonight. The Tide enjoys a real late afternoon tip at 5:30 this afternoon, which I kind of like. During the cocktail hour, they call it there, Barry. That's interesting.
5:30 for that on ESPN News. And then
I think I have that. I'm going to check later today.
Yeah. I didn't know it was still a thing, to be honest with you. Basically I only watch ESPN for the games and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't even know what it is, cold pizza or what's up or that ain't my thing.
Yeah.
But ESPN News tonight at 5:30 for Alabama, Georgia in Athens.
Yeah.
Crimson Tide's playing pretty well right now. They're not going to win the regular season championship, but later on at 9 o'clock tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern, LSU and Auburn. Is this a must-win game for Auburn?
Ooh.
The ship may have sailed as far as the NCAA tournament. I think it probably has.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Barry. I'm hearing a lot of talk that Auburn still could get in, even with the loss to Ole Miss. Still might sneak in. Is this like a Dayton sneaking in or a Thursday sneaking in?
Well, if they don't win against LSU tonight, it ain't going to be a nothing kind of sneaking in. Nothing. Play at 9 tonight in Auburn. 2 15-14 teams, both struggling. And I anticipate some empty seats at Neville Arena.
Whoa.
The year after they win, year after they make the Final Four, to have empty seats kind of lets you know just how far off the rails this basketball team has been lately.
Yeah. Did anybody look that up for me? How many teams have been in the Final Four and then the next year they don't make the tournament? Anybody do that homework assignment since we last spoke?
This is not a point upon which John will base the entire show.
Yeah.
If it was, he would have done the research himself. But, sometimes it pays off when you just blurt something out and somebody comes back at you and say, hey, all right, okay, now I can work with this.
Yeah.
It's not something that John is just absolutely losing sleep over, but hey, I'm going to say it, and if you've come up with it, Bama fans, you can bring it along, and we'll serve it up there like it's the gospel truth.
With the how have they fallen so far so fast card, I use that up in football, so I'm just curious to know how many teams made the Final Four, then 12 months later don't even make the tournament.
Well, there's probably, believe me, and I know how some of you think. Auburn's not the first.
Oh, good. I'm relieved.
Yeah,
good.
Auburn. Auburn's bound to be the first one. I've never heard of that before. Of course, I couldn't tell you who was in the Final Four at any point in any year ever, but that's got to be a first. No, I remember. You remember the FAUs, and you remember the George Masons or Dave Mason or Trey Mason or something like that.
Yeah.
So, the interesting thing to me is something we brought up yesterday, and I actually got an answer from my buddy Bobby T.
Okay.
At lunch yesterday. Alabama and Georgia play at 5:30 on ESPN News.
Like that.
Auburn and LSU play at 9 on the SEC network, and John noted that tonight everybody plays but two teams. There are 7 games in the SEC and 1 on ESPN.
That's right. I don't know what's on ESPN tonight. Is it that golf thing that Tiger does?
That's called jumping the route.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, it is that golf thing tonight. Yeah. Thank you, John. Crafted point leading up to the thing. John, I don't even know what him. Okay.
Yeah.
It is that golf thing tonight, which is the biggest crock of nothing in the history of ever. John was telling me whenever it was about to debut with all this stuff, basically it's a bunch of really good golfers hitting into a net, and a computer tells you where the ball's going to land and what what
and then
the
they've got some greens. They got a little short game area as well, but it's all on fake grass. And I saw a little bit of it. I wasn't.
So you're getting rid. I don't know. It's really easy to produce. I mean, you got teams.
Yeah.
Right. You got teams. You got the Atlanta Linksters versus the Boston Mulligans or whatever.
Yep.
And all they got to do is they got to put about 3 cameras out there, and there's no rain. You ain't got guys that have to go cover up the cameras or reporters out on the course.
They got Matt Berry in the booth. He's doing the play-by-play.
How simple is that? So, look at this. Oh, what a shot. Really? How does it tell that the ball's going to? I think it's all made up, and I ain't watching a bit of it. Are you telling me?
On top of them, they got these VIP seats with lazy boys. People are sitting in and they're drinking and having a good time. I'd go if somebody wanted to take me, but I ain't gonna watch it.
The best week of the SEC schedule. People are jockeying for position, not in the SEC. Nobody cares about that. But, for the NCAA tournament, the SEC schedule comes down to its final week, and they're putting Alabama on ESPN News.
What does that tell you?
Missouri, Oklahoma on ESPNU for some made-up golf thing on computers?
Yeah, what does that tell you about the status of SEC basketball around the country? In football, obviously, it's different. But in basketball, last week of the regular season, indoor golf is trumping them on the mothership, ESPN, and they're putting games on ESPNU, which I do understand. I found out. I
know you had ESPNU. It's just ESPN.
Oh, ESPN News. Yeah, I've got that too. I've just found that out, gotten that confirmed. It launched as a kind of like headline news version of sports. And it was kind of cool because you got everything you needed to know in 30 minutes, but I hadn't watched
who didn't cover.
Yeah, hadn't watched in a while.
John doesn't want all this blah, blah, blah about Australian rules soccer. And let's go live into the Ravens practice facility to check on the status. Of course,
care less.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Did they cover? What was
That's
the score? Right. Can you give me a final?
Give me the nuts and bolts. That's all I need to know.
That's right.
And then you look at the SEC tournament in basketball. I mean, ESPN didn't cover those games till the championship game on Sunday.
That's right.
The SEC network's doing it. Is that the case in the Big Ten or the ACC? No. ESPN and Fox are covering those conferences. So I don't know. Maybe we got to step it up in basketball a little bit. Speaking of stepping it up, Barry, are they camping out in front of Neville Arena? Are they giving out free pizzas? Do they have the tent set up? Last home game of the regular season. Really need a win tonight. Don't let the 9:00 tip discourage you. I mean, this is a loyal fan base that is sold it out numerous times.
Which is true.
Hey, they need you tonight, Auburn fans. Don't leave them high and dry tonight. They gave you a lot. It's time for you to give them something.
What I also like about today, and
did you not like that pep talk? I mean, I thought that was pretty good.
I don't think it was heartfelt. I don't think it was sincere. The throat clear gave you away. I think the sincerity was lacking.
Wow.
Here's what I also like is it's the end of the SEC schedule. There's other games, other Power Four leagues still playing, but conference tournaments begin. The Sun Belt begins this evening down in Pensacola. Tomorrow, the first round of the ASUN. Let's see. Tomorrow, later on, it's the America East. They don't invite everybody, so it's not so long. The Big Sky. Let's see. Starting tomorrow, it is the Big South tournament in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Oh, part of the Tri-City area. Yeah.
Right. With can you name the other two?
Bristol and Kingsport.
There you go.
How about that?
So you got the Metro Atlantic and all that. So if you want, and you're a big basketball aficionado, today, well, not necessarily today, but really starting tomorrow, you can watch a by gosh basketball game from like 11 o'clock in the morning on if you want to. So, here we are live at the Fred C. Jones Pavilion in Johnson City, Tennessee. First of 4 games in the ASUN. If you are that guy, that kind of stuff starts tomorrow.
That's amazing. And I wonder where all of these are these games televised? It must be streamed or something. I mean, there's so many games and so many conferences. There's no way they can get them on all at the same time.
Big time ESPN Plus week this week. This is the one where you see from the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. We welcome you in. What is the meta? They're in Atlantic City. And you got some kid who's looks like he's about 19. Welcome in, everybody, with my partner, Dominic Jones. And off they go, and it's basketball. Today's game features the number 11 seed Ryder Broncos against the number 9 seed. Both of these teams are 6 games under 500 this season, but we've got it, and you can watch it in John's Click. All right.
Come on.
So if you want to, I mean, we are getting to the point of wall-to-wall basketball, and I'm all about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
John,
I got to come clean. I mean, all those conferences you just reeled off, I can't imagine myself watching a minute of it. Now, when I get the score or I hear a highlight clip of, oh, look at this huge upset in the Mountain West. Oh, really? Wow. Oh, look at that. Man, look at that. Hey, hate it for that team losing at the buzzer.
Don't expect them to be on the Phantoms Daily Dog.
Maybe it could be. And I appreciate
the
River Region Straw chat line already commenting about the Daily Dog. Anyway, we'll get to that later, or maybe we won't.
The Summit League in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the Southland Championship. They begin later on this week in Lake Charles, Louisiana. This is what we're talking about everywhere. All over the place.
Should I have mentioned that, though? Should I have said that I just like to be real. I like to be honest. Hey, John, are you going to watch the Mountain West Conference basketball tournament? No. Well, don't you think you should? No.
Nah, he's never felt the need.
Yeah.
And he's never lost any sleep over it.
I watch a few of quite honestly, Barry, I'm not sure how much of the SEC tournament I'm going to watch. I mean, those early games, when you look, if you're watching a basketball game, you can actually hear the ball bouncing up and down the floor. That means nobody's there and nobody cares. So why am I wasting my time at 1:00 on a Wednesday afternoon watching Mississippi State play South Carolina?
Because it really doesn't matter, again, in the world of Longshore, how good the teams are, how well they played this year. It's all about, man, there ain't nobody watching this. And nobody, there's no fans in the stands.
So
I ain't watching something with no fans. I mean, they could be a terrific game. Best game of the year, quadruple overtime. 2 guys score 50. And Longshore's like, there's nobody in the stands to watch it. Must not have mattered,
Well, I will say this. I'll probably keep an eye out, see what Nate Oates' team is doing. I will certainly keep an eye out, and I'll get assists because I'll get ding. Hey, you watching the Albs? So I'll know when they're playing. Florida, I'll check them out. Tennessee, they're pretty good. Arkansas is fun to watch. The other ones, losers. Nah.
Yeah. So that's the state of college basketball. If you were to pay people to come in and get a full house, John might watch you. But if there's, 350 people in Atlantic City, New Jersey, John's flipping on by. John, there's this one guy that scores 25 a game, and he's got one arm. I don't care. Nobody's watching. Big deal.
Well, Bear, there better be some people watching inside Neville Arena tonight, or I'm going to be upset, disappointed. Yeah. Can't bail on your team now when they need you. Body getter, get over there. Be loud, be proud tonight.
There are going to be people that'll stay up late. Again, it starts at 9 tonight. There are going to be people that John knows that will have a kitchen chair pulled up close to the TV with their reading glasses on and with a notepad. Oh, section double Z, row 14. Yeah. There's one in the middle. I see one there right there. Okay, section. All right, so, there's two. Hang on. That guy came back. He's got a hot dog and a pretzel. All right, so he's there. Okay.
I might have to turn my ringer off. If it gets a little crazy and it's dinging into the 10:30, might have to just turn the ringer off.
9,100 fan capacity. I'm telling you, if there's 9,097 people there, 3 short of capacity, somebody's going to let John know. There are 3 empty seats with the Albs game. Unbelievable. Yeah.
All right. So listen, today we got a lot of folks joining us today. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com will join us here in about 13 minutes. Travis Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide at the top of hour number 2. And Joe Maloney, he's the president and CEO of the Sports Betting Alliance. That has certainly been a hot topic in these parts. And Joe will join us and educate us and inform us about what the Sports Betting Alliance is all about.
All that coming up here on the program. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Get some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the River region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the River region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here today on the program, about 20 minutes past the hour. Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. Check it out there for all of your news, politics, lifestyle, sports. Yellowhammer News has it for you, and you'll see Longshore and McKnight there as well. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Tunes. Just type in Longshore McKnight in the search bar. You will find us. It's that easy. We greatly appreciate it.
Yesterday afternoon, I was on a radio program in Auburn as a guest, radio program hosted by my buddy Dan Peck, Bill Cameron, who, you and I have known for years years and years. Brian Matthews was a guest host. We'll have Brian on in just a minute. We were talking about Troy basketball. Troy's the Sun Belt Conference regular season champion in men's basketball and almost won a women's championship in the regular season. And they were also wanting to talk about Stephen Pearl. What did I think about the job he has done? He had an interesting thing yesterday. I think it was yesterday when he was talking a little bit, John, about some of the zest for living that some of his players have exemplified so far this year.
Yep.
And he brought something interesting, because he's had difficulties with several of his guys. He's suspended a few. He's not started a few. And basically he said this, somebody misses the first 20 minutes of a film session. And that was Keyshawn Murphy, I believe. Keyshawn Hall has had his problems. Some of those other guys. And he said, look, I'm not asking a lot. We've got several things that, are the standard of what we ask for. He's aware of the frustrations coming from the fan base, but we've got certain minimum expectations that we've got to adhere to. He says these guys need to understand that they are with the money that they're being paid, they've got to do basic things, right? Be on time. You and I have talked about this before. John is a big proponent of the real world.
Yeah.
You've got to be prepared for the real world. These guys are getting suspended and these guys are losing starts and everything because they're not showing up on time. Or they're, not exemplifying team behavior or not exemplifying leadership. And, John, if that's the case, then there ain't a whole lot that Stephen Pearl can do about it except to try to get their attention. Because How many times have you seen that from interns or first-year probationary hires? Wait a minute, I was only 5 minutes late. Or, see, I didn't realize there would be that much traffic. Or, wait a minute.
I wonder, though, Barry, if a seasoned veteran coach like Bruce Pearl, those things didn't seem to happen when he was there. Do those players respect a guy that's been around longer, been deep into the tournament? Maybe a first-year coach, some of these guys feel like they can get away with something. Kind of like when the substitute teacher showed up. You felt like you could get away with a little bit more. Maybe they're just testing this guy.
Maybe. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
And I don't know if there's some magic formula that you say, hey, look, man, I'm running the show here. This doesn't happen. Yeah, whatever, coach.
See, that's the thing. When we were talking with Bill and Dan and Brian yesterday on that show, I get it that the roster is new. I do. I do understand that. I think early on in the year when they were playing those tough games and winning a few of those, I was impressed. They hit the conference, they hit a skid, conference is tough and all that, and I get it, I do. But again, I keep coming back, there was no excuse for the way they played against Ole Miss. Whatever, excuses you've got, well, we've got to send a message to this guy, we got to send a message to that guy. I get sending a message. I get sitting somebody for effect. I get trying to demand respect from guys who are man, you've never been a head coach before in your life. Still, they shouldn't have played the way they did against Ole Miss. To me, that's red flags all over the place. I'm prepared, or was prepared, to give Stephen Pearl a pass and all that, but man, that was terrible. That was at home with everything riding on it. They give that effort against a team that had lost 10 in a row. Those are problems out there. And even if Auburn fans, and God bless them, I hope they show up tonight. I'm with John on that.
Yeah, I got to show up now. Come on.
Well, right now, Joe Lunardi has us as one of the last 4 in. We could make it in. Okay, maybe they go to Dayton. Maybe there is some value in saying, hey, you made the tournament.
Is it?
We're not doing anything.
Is it really?
Anything.
It's kind of like the Final Four deal. Is it really some value? I mean, I guess maybe some financially there's some value. But, I mean, the many Auburn people think, hey, we made the tournament. Whoopee! And then we lose the first game and we're out. So what?
Yeah.
If you go and you lose, hey, we made the tournament in 2026. Did we? Yeah, remember we lost in the first round. But, hey, we made it. I'm just wondering, and I think we'll get a temperature tonight, how they play against an LSU team that's not any good. And then if they hang around against Alabama on Saturday and make it a game, hey, okay, we're a little excited. Maybe have a run in Nashville. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see it. Yes.
But if you make the tournament, do you really want to make the tournament? Really? How much faith and confidence do you have in making hey, we made the tournament and we're going to make a run. We're going to shock the world. Okay.
In recruiting, I mean, is it recruits do their diligence. They do their research. They'll look and they'll see that Auburn has won once in their last 6 games, something like that.
That bad? Ooh,
and they'll finish but hey, we make the tournament and Auburn plays in the tournament and they lose by 20 to somebody. Which would be a better recruiting tool? I'm just asking. Again, and by recruiting, I'm talking about making a business agreement with somebody, paying them a lot of money to come to your school.
Yeah. Well, that's probably in the works right now, if I had to imagine, but go ahead.
Which is a better sell, though? Man, we fell short. We were in the Final Four 2 years ago. This past year, we fell short. Ooh. You could be the difference maker. You could be the one to get us back to the top and all that kind of stuff. Or, well, we made the tournament. Yeah, Coach, I saw that one. Man, you got beat by 30 or by 20 by a team I've never heard of before. I don't know. I don't know. I'm people there again. Oh, hey, we made the tournament. It's kind of like we made the Final Four. Well, what'd you do when you got there? Well, we were one and done, but hey, we made it. I don't buy that. To me, it's a marketing, it's a publicity ploy. Hey, we've made the tournament 10 straight years. Yeah. Oh, really? Well, tell me how you did in those 10 years. Well, we got put out in the first round, 8 of those 10, but hey, we still made it. Oh, okay. So did 68 other teams, or 67. Yeah,
you made 68.
Yeah.
And I hate to be such a Debbie Downer. Should I be? Hey, it's a big deal. You made the tournament. Really? How many Alabama football fans are going, hey, we made the 12-team football playoff last year? Did you? Really? Huh. Oh, okay. They're not raising a flag at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Are they not?
2025, 12-team college football playoff participant.
There might be something somewhere. Something on the wall near the restrooms at the Malmore building. Something to commemorate that. But it's not.
Commemorate getting your ass kicked by 35?
Stirring come from behind victory against Oklahoma when the chips were down and backs against the wall and I think John is downplaying the whole thing.
Yeah.
Making the Final Four is a big deal. John says, I don't even tell you. John also, he'll also go on and, he never has, he'll go on and tell you, I can't tell you the 12 teams or even 8 teams that made the college football playoff.
Alabama made the Final Four. I think they got beat by the eventual national champion in UConn, I think. I don't know who the other 2 teams were.
I thought they got beat by San Diego State, who lost to UConn in the championship.
Maybe they did. Help us out on the River Region chat line.
You've got a computer sitting right in front of you. I know it. That's how you're broadcasting today. Right in front of you, keyboard right down there. Somebody tell me. Yeah.
See, now Robbie disagrees with me, Barry. Robbie says Auburn's vying for their 6th straight NCAA tournament. That and 25 cents will get you a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Hey, we've made the tournament 6 years in a row.
See, this is the thing. Bill from Baltimore, he has a couple of them here, said he says it is an accomplishment, especially for the teams when I was there.
Well,
for Auburn, it would be good. Robbie, it would be good if Auburn made it. Robbie says something about a 6 straight years in the tournament.
Yep.
That's a very fine thing. So, I guess there is that, but I don't.
Okay,
I guess
Bill, I
it's
see
fun.
you working here.
I guess
yes, it would be a big deal if Troy made the Final Four.
It's a big deal when Troy makes the tournament. The tournament is
of
value. It is of value for Auburn. Making the tournament would be better than a finger in the eye, I suppose.
I don't know,
but they're not going to do anything in it. So
there again, Auburn has been there. Final Fours, been to the tournament 5 in a row. Troy has not. So it'd be a bigger deal. There's no doubt. They would be experiencing something that they have not experienced on a regular basis multiple times. It's harder for Troy to get into the tournament than it would be an SEC school in my mind.
So
I can see the value there, but I just don't buy into this. Hey, we got to make the tournament. Really? Because if you're one and done, it's amazing. The line in Shawshank Redemption, disappeared like a fart in the wind. That's what happens if you lose in the first round. Did we really make the tournament that year? Yeah, remember we got beat in the first round. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Now, what is this real quick before we head to break and have Brian Matthews hop on with us? Bama lost to San Diego State in the second round. Okay, what's that got to do with the Final Four year?
I thought they heck, I'll look it up. John has once again worn me down. What's the deal with this? Again, keyboard right there. Right here, there's a computer. But John ain't looking it up.
The thing is, if it's not looked up, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. But I know it's bugging Barry. Like, who is that? I got to look that up. So
John has utilized that for many years. My natural curiosity. John, if you don't tell me, no big deal. But if you do, that's fine too. I ain't looking it up, but hey, if you have a wild hair, knock yourself out. When we come back, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs.
Summer's here, and so too are its many challenges. Heat that won't quit, beers that won't fit, hammocks that won't hammock, screen doors that appear out of nowhere, flips that flop a little too much. That's why it's important to keep it simple. Keep it cool, keep them coming, and keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 25 minutes to the top of the hour. A lot going on today, and we're going to get it going here with our man Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. Hopping on. How you doing there, Brian?
I'm doing great. If you didn't know, Barry came on our local show yesterday, and we tore him up pretty good. So I hope he's feeling okay this morning.
Man, you got to tip me off to that, Brian, so I can make sure I listen in for that. Yeah. Awesome. He was telling about it. He was talking about it earlier today. I'm sorry.
I think his mic went down.
Yeah, I did. It's an ongoing battle, but we were talking about Troy in the Sunbelt Conference Championship and everything, and you closed out with Bill and with Dan asking about my perceptions of the Auburn basketball program in the first year under Stephen Pearl, and like I told you guys, Brian. I'm prepared to give him a break. They started out the season pretty well, very tough schedule, almost an entirely new roster with a couple of exceptions. But it broke me the way they have performed down the stretch, especially with so much riding on it, to lose like they did on Saturday at home against an Ole Miss team that had lost 10 in a row. That is symptomatic of something, don't you think?
Oh, it definitely is. I think we do have to, accept that teams understand what Auburn is, and they're playing a certain way against them, which makes it much tougher for them. But Auburn has really collapsed down the stretch. The season's on the line, the chances for an NCAA tournament bid on the line. They just keep losing, and the Stephen Pearl's coaching staff lays out hey, this is what we got to do to win. We have to play this way defensively. We have to be really high energy and really get after it, and really defend in a certain way, and then they go out on the floor and they don't do it. So that is a concern, certainly, for the way this team is playing right now.
Is it too early or too harsh of a statement to say that maybe this team's quit on Stephen Pearl?
Probably too harsh, because I think that's one of the worst things you can say about a team in any sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
But from the outside looking in, you can see signs of that, sure. I mean, when a coach keeps telling a team what to do and they don't do it, what's the explanation for it? So, there's also, this team is not built to play the way Pearl wants them to play, right? They are built to be more of a run and gun type team, an offensive team. And then, they had some injuries, some discipline issues, and they're down to 7 players in the rotation. They can't play like that. They have to play this way. And, you just got guys in this team who are really good offensive players like Keyshawn Hall and can't play a lick of defense. So that plays into it too. So I do think it's not as cut and dry as they've just quit on him. I think there are other factors involved.
And I get it. I'm trying to think of another term, maybe checked out a little, maybe. Something like that.
He's had to get their attention a couple of times. And I think it was yesterday, maybe it was over the weekend, when he says, look, with the money we're paying them, they've got basic expectations. He said, I'm not asking a lot out of them. And it seems like elemental, simple things that several of them are really kind of chafing under, some of the rules and all that stuff.
Yeah, some discipline issues have popped up, and they're popping up late in the season when you don't want to really see that. You don't expect it to happen.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Hall was 20 minutes late to a meeting, didn't start against Ole Miss. Pearl talked a little bit more about that yesterday, saying that it's the first problem they've had with Hall. His alarm didn't go off and just didn't make it. But still, had to hold him accountable for that. But those little things just keep happening. And, Keyshawn Hall is not really the problem there, but other players have had, more continuous type issues there, which has kept them from starting or kept them off the floor or just affected the entire team, really.
So is there hope? I mean, a win over LSU, I don't think they'll win in Tuscaloosa. How would you describe their NCAA tournament chances?
It's really difficult to say this is how it is, because Sunday I looked at Joe Lunardi, and I don't know, I know there's other sources out there too, but I looked at him, and Auburn was one of the last 4 in. By Monday afternoon, they're one of the last 4 out. So, it's bouncing right there on the line back and forth. And of course, he's not the expert. It matters he is the expert on predictions, but it matters what the committee does. And then, there's no guarantee they're going to beat LSU the way they played against Ole Miss
Yeah.
that game. And certainly, I mean, if you have to go to Tuscaloosa at the end of the year and, they're playing out of their mind right now, I guess they're probably playing for a higher seed. I haven't really looked at them, but I'm assuming they will have something to play for other than it being an in-state, rivalry and it probably being senior night, I'm assuming. But that's just really tough. That's what they have to do to get in this tournament. So they're in a really tough spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some of the same projections as well. I mean, you would have thought after the loss to an Ole Miss team that had lost 10 in a row that they were done.
Yep.
But there does seem to be a little glimmer of hope, Brian, that they still could get in. And you kind of wonder if they do, how excited are people going to be? I mean, I know that it will extend a streak. I think it will be the longest streak in Auburn basketball history of making the tournament 6 times in a row.
Right.
I guess that would be something they could stick their hat on or put their hat on, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I'm asking, confidence-wise, I mean, you make the tournament, are you expecting much out of it?
Probably not, no. But I do think it's, sort of the dream of a lot of college basketball players to play in the NCAA tournament, no matter what team or level you're playing at. Keyshawn Hall, who is a senior, I don't think he's ever played in it. Keyshawn Murphy has played in it with State, I believe, but I don't think he's ever won an NCAA tournament game. And I'm sure there's some others there. I don't really know their status. Of course, Elijah Freeman, who was at a D2 school, hasn't played in it. So there's motivation there. There's an accomplishment there if the players can do it. But it's been out there for them to grab, and they just haven't been able to get up enough to get it done.
In the debacle that was the Ole Miss game on Saturday, you saw Tahad Pettiford. I think he had 24, made 10 of 16 shots, and it drives me crazy because I've always thought, especially the way he played, late last year as a freshman, that he could do that every night. What's been his downfall? What's been his issue this year to where he hasn't played up to expectations?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think number one, he's been in a bit of a shooting slump, right? He has not been as consistent as you'd like him to be. He does a great job of coming off screens and taking a little back step and getting that open shot right there at the 3-point line. You'd think he would knock that down most of the time, and he just been banging him off the rim. And so that's been an issue. I think trying to adjust to being a point guard and not a guy who comes off the bench and just pops threes and is like an offensive scorer.
Right.
Has really, been an issue for him. It's put a lot of pressure on him. I don't think he's handled it as well as you'd like him to. So he's had some real inconsistencies there. And then I just don't think that Tahad is a natural leader. And I think with the only returning player on the team, he was kind of asked to take that role. And I just don't think it's fit him well. So I think that's added to his, putting a lot of weight on his shoulders this season. So, it has been maybe not disappointing, but it has been a definitely up and down season for him, and maybe not certainly not as good as I think the expectations were for him, fair or not.
Auburn football is going to get going here, in less than 2 weeks, I believe, Brian.
Yep.
Alex Golish will take his team out there for the first time. What's the buzz? What are you hearing?
It is exactly 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
And I think everybody associated with Auburn is looking forward to that with the way the basketball team is playing, although baseball is doing really well too. But I just think, I know I mentioned this before, but having around 90 players for a spring roster is crazy. So what I'm most excited for is them going out and competing right away. I know it'll be shorts and shirts for day 1 and 2 or whatever NCAA rules, but I think they're competing for spots. I think there's going to be a ton of competitions at the skill positions like receiver and running back. The offensive and defensive lines are completely wide open as far as who's going to be the starters, right? You just have no idea. So there's just going to be a whole lot of competition, a whole lot of newsy type stuff coming out of spring, I feel like. So I think that'll be fun for us to cover and fun for people to kind of consume, who's stepping up, who's not, all the little battles we're going to write about here coming up.
Yeah, and there was some severe doubt whether they'd have enough, personnel for some of those battles, but I think Golish has done a pretty good job of talent procurement. You really won't know until, like you said, when they're out there competing with each other. How are the numbers? Are the numbers, is the roster where it needs to be, do you think?
Oh, numbers wise, it's more than they need. I feel like I think there's 3 or 4 players that aren't there in the spring that won't be there until May. So that puts the roster, somewhere between 85 and 90. I don't know the exact number, but up there. And most springs you're talking about having around 50 players back in the day. So numbers are there. I think the biggest issue is the line of scrimmage. They've got some guys returning there. They brought in some guys, but they didn't bring in any, this guy's a former 5-star, or this guy is, a 2-time all conference selection at this school. So you're bringing in some journeyman types, you're bringing in some try hard types, but there's a bunch of them. So we'll just see who can step up and take a job. I just don't have a good feel for how good or how average or above average that those 2 units can be.
Brian, I hear these national college analysts talk about teams this, here we are, early March, looking forward to the fall. And I've heard a couple of them say, yeah, Auburn, they got 7-5, 8-4 written all over them. And they're talking about the schedule, and it is a difficult schedule. There's no doubt about it. I wonder how they make that observation, how they come up with that feeling. Is it just based on what they've done the last couple of years? Because I kind of see it a little differently. I mean, it's kind of like the complete flush has gone through at Auburn, and Golish has gone in there and brought in a lot of kids that he's familiar with from South Florida, picked up some other key pieces. To me, I lean more on the high end. I'm amazed that these so-called experts out there are kind of leaning more toward business as usual and maybe even the lower end when it comes to wins and losses.
Yeah. 60 newcomers, right? So 21 signees, 39 transfers. So that's basically, 2/3 of your team or more are newcomers, which is crazy to think about again. I don't know. I think 7-5 would be wonderful because you're breaking a 5-year consecutive season of losing seasons. So that would be a big step forward in my opinion. And I love what they did at quarterback. I'm excited to see what Byron Brown can do, right? And I think they've really increased their talent depth at running back. I like that they brought in Brown's, whole receiving core basically, and those guys had success against Florida and Miami. So I think they're going to adjust the SEC pretty good. But you can have all that, and if your offensive line isn't good enough, it's all going to be, average at best, no matter how talented those positions are or how deep they are. So I've still got a little skepticism there about how good this team can be, even with a quarterback like Byron Brown. But we'll see. If they can be decent on the offensive line, this offense could be really exciting.
Well, let me ask you this about how decent they can be. The Auburn baseball team. John, let's talk baseball.
Let's do it.
Little baseball.
Heck yeah.
Auburn baseball goes out to Arlington, Texas, and was impressive as heck out there. They lose to Nebraska last week and then beat the snot out of them 2 straight games. I think they've got Samford tonight. What's the early vibe on baseball and its ceiling this year?
Pretty exciting right now. Jake Marciano stepped up as a true Friday night starter. Been terrific. I don't think he has a walk yet, and something like 26 strikeouts, no walks. So that's a really good start.
Okay.
And then they had those 3 freshmen step up last season, right, and become all American freshman All-American types. And now they got 3 more really. Mason McCrane, who's a true freshman, Brandon McCrane, his older brother, who's a redshirt freshman, have been terrific. Mason had 6 RBIs on Saturday. Brandon's batting over 500, leading the team. And then Ethan Bingaman was SEC Freshman of the Week a week ago. He has been terrific too, as a first baseman, as a hitter, and came in at the end of Sunday's game and threw an inning. So he's a 2-way player also. So they've got some exciting young players. They got a bunch of depth, position player wise, and the pitching staff is really coming on. And that's without Griffin Graves, one of the guys they felt like was going to be one of their top starters this season. He should be back here within a week or so, we think. So, I think there's a lot of reasons to be really excited about the future of this baseball program. They've only got this weekend and another weekend series before SEC play starts. So it's right around the corner.
Missouri. I'm doing something John's unfamiliar with right now. I'm looking something up. And you're right. Jake Marciano, pitcher for Auburn, 29 strikeouts,
29,
0 walks.
Wow. Man.
Yep.
He sounds like Greg Maddox. That clip I sent you yesterday. That stat
Yes,
about
exactly.
Greg Maddox. Unbelievable.
I have
Still
never seen
one of
that,
the most
Brian.
unbelievable sports persons I've ever seen in my lifetime, Greg Maddox.
Yeah. Somebody sent me out. If I forgot, he even sent this to me. I sent it to Barry. I'm not a big baseball guy. I don't know if you picked up on that, Brian.
Eye
over the
blue,
years.
water's wet. Yeah.
I there's a few things. I watch postseason baseball. I do like that.
I love postseason baseball too.
Yes.
This guy sent me I couldn't believe it. Greg Maddox faced 20,421 batters over the course of his career. Only 310 saw a 3-0 count.
Yep.
Of those, over half of them, 177 were intentional walks.
Yeah. It's
That's
amazing.
amazing.
It really is. And when you watch Greg Maddox, you looked at him, you thought, man, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could be that guy, right? Yeah, he's not right.
Well,
big
Brian, I said forever. They couldn't ever win the World Series except that time David Justice closed his eyes and swung from the hips and hit one over against the Indians. Forever, I said I could manage the Braves to a World Series.
Drives me crazy. Yeah.
You kidding me? Bobby Cox is over there eating sunflower seeds.
Just to give you some perspective, John said what? Greg Maddox faced 29,000 hitters. Just to give you some perspective, that is the 29,000th time that John has mentioned that David Justice closed his eyes and swung from the heels against the Indians.
I'm going to have to go watch that video again just to see if he's telling the truth or not.
You know what? I was at that game, Brian.
Wow.
I was at that World Series game. Had a brush with greatness with Bill Murray. He was at the game too.
Yeah, he was sleeping and John was sleeping. I think they woke up together. I'm not sure.
I hate to bring this up because Barry, to my knowledge,
I've never been
to a World Series game. I've actually been to 3 of them. So if I really want to get him, hit that World Series.
Yeah. I believe I was in Arkansas for Auburn, Arkansas game, listening to the Braves game on a little handheld radio. We all remember those back in the day. Some of us.
Yeah. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. You mentioned, especially, so many things going on, obviously, right now. But when spring practice gets started, you got a lot of stuff cranking up that a lot of people are going to be wanting to read and to watch and to take advantage of. How do they do so?
Yeah, and also the dead period's over. So we got recruitment really picking up again. All that and more, auburnsports.com. You can follow me on Twitter /X at BMATAU. Check us out.
Awesome. As always, thank you so much for your time, Brian. We greatly appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one.
Take care. Brian Matthews joins us, auburnsports.com. Always good stuff. He does a good job. He doesn't co-host that program all the time with Bill and Dan in Auburn. Just when they need ratings, when they need the
Oh, sure. Yeah, exactly.
It always helps him. That's why we have him on.
Oh, sure. No doubt. Yeah, we should have mentioned the Auburn golf team as well. They like baseball. They're doing very well this spring too. So I want to give them a shout out.
Yeah. He, of course, men's and women's golf.
Oh, women too.
Are doing really well. Auburn has got they've got a really nice facility. It's a really nice, not only a nice place, but also, lots of resources. They've got a golfer. John and I have talked about him before, as a matter of fact, named Jackson Coyven.
Yeah.
He's a junior, and he may be the best collegiate golfer in the country. He's from Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Wait a minute. How did he end up at Auburn? Wait a minute. Hold on.
In the old days, John used to say that they used to intimate that they must be paying him to go pass.
You know how many schools he had to pass on his way to Auburn coming down 85?
But, Auburn golf is doing well. So forget what I have in this hand over there. Whatever, Auburn golf and Auburn baseball.
Barry, I do hear a lot about this young man. I've seen him play a little bit. He is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The way he's playing right now, he's going to make a lot of money on the tour one day.
Yes.
When they're talking you up on Golf Channel as a college player, you know you got something going for you.
There you go.
And I hear him talk about this young man on Golf Channel quite a bit.
Yeah, you looking for maybe the most accomplished athlete on the Auburn campus? The line is not long in that regard. This year, unfortunately, it has not to this point, and we're only in March. It has not been a banner year in Auburn athletics. This kid is the shining example. Right
Hey, if
now.
Brandel Chambly's talking you up, whoa,
John
you're in good character. Yeah.
John is a huge Brandel Chambly guy. Huge. More in a moment. Lots more still to come, including Travis Ryer on YouTube. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What I miss? I have no idea.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here on this Tuesday. Getting some response, Barry, about Alabama's tip time tonight, 5:30. Yep. I personally don't have a problem with it. Earlier I mentioned cocktail hour game. 5 o'clock's the cocktail hour, I'm told. I know some people,
but nobody gets there right at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I know somebody.
Hey, boss, let me out 15 minutes early so I can make the cocktail hour straight up and down 5 o'clock. 5:30. I mean, if you're in Northport or wherever, you got to hustle to get there. Find a place to park. Yep. Go in, get through, they'll scan your phone. Hey, where? All right, let's get over there. And by the time you get to your seat, man, you're already like 18 minutes in the first half,
Yeah, I mean, you got to plan accordingly, but it's better than a 9 o'clock tip, not to compare, but I don't have a problem with the 5:30 tip. No, not at all. I mean, 5's a little early for me. 5:30 is okay, but I get it. Maybe you're coming home from work. You're not home in time. You want to kind of settle down. You got a little project you're trying to finish up when you get home. 5:30 could be a little tough. I get it. You listen to Chris Stewart, Brian Pasick before you get in to turn it on. And there again with tonight, Barry, looking at this schedule, and I mentioned it before, I think there are 4 SEC network games tonight. What happened to the old commentators and color analysts? Because
they're old.
This new crew, I'm not warming up to them. I don't think they're very good.
John doesn't like change.
No.
John doesn't like change. Give me Tom Hammond.
Yeah.
Give me Larry Conley.
Ugh.
Those guys are old.
Miss
John,
those guys.
all this new
Oh.
stuff, new people. I don't
I
like
like
it.
Jimmy Dykes. He's pretty good.
Yeah. But I like him. Let's see. I like Roy Philpott. But John's like, Roy Philpott, he's no Keith Jackson.
Yeah,
Or, gosh, I can't even think
I
of
missed the Fish. I know Fish is doing studio stuff, but he was good. He does. He does more studio than he does games now, which I want him on the games. Yeah, they're not asking me, but I think
Speaking
they
as
have.
a guy,
I think the talent level has been lowered a little bit. Maybe these guys are working into it. Maybe you should be doing that somewhere else before you get to the SEC network. Just saying, but
oh, brother, give me a break.
Yeah, I just think they need a little bit more work.
I disagree. I think they're terrific. The only thing is John doesn't recognize their names. That's all.
Well, that has something to do
guy?
with it. I just don't think their delivery's that great. I like smooth, exciting, informative delivery, and these guys are kind of boring. They make me want to go out in the driveway.
I can't believe that people. Please tell me that you guys aren't buying all this. I mean, I like informative delivery. These guys are boring me. John ain't after. Those are two exactly different points. If those guys are saying, well, here he is at the free throw line where he's shooting 78% on the year. But remember, over the last 5 games, he is 17 for 19. And John does not want informative. Informative, schminformative. I want them to be informative. I want them to be exciting. Which one is it, John?
Both.
Which one?
You can be both, multifaceted.
There ain't no way.
Entertaining. I like Jimmy Dykes' little caricature. It's like who's in first class, who's in business class, and who's in coach, talking about teams that are going to make the tournament. I like that kind of stuff.
That's not necessarily informative. That's opinion, and I like that. But John's not looking back. Man, when Keith Jackson and Frank Broyles were doing those games, and Keith was breaking down that guy's yard per carry average on third down, golly, it was great. No, he ain't doing that.
Keith, my heart can't stand it. I miss those guys. I mean, give me a little energy and a little excitability over there. I mean, it's like, who is this guy?
Chance of the living dead.
Really? Hey, Tobias asked an interesting question. And yes, Tobias, we have talked about this before. That is true. Tobias says he read a story where DraftKings said the average bet is only $5. People are doing it for entertainment purposes. Yes,
people are doing it for entertainment.
Their wagering is not large stuff. They get some of that, no doubt. But a lot of their wagering is, $5, $10, $20.
Well, here's the thing. This is, again, I don't know anything at all about it. But with the advent, especially with DraftKings and FanDuel and all that, of online betting on your phone, I got a buddy of mine, he was showing it to me that, you can have a prop bet on somebody kicking this field goal. Not a field goal, but this field goal.
Yeah.
Hey, this thing's 38 yards, wind's a little dicey. Boom, I'm getting it here. So for a lot of people, I would think, John, and you certainly know better than I do, it isn't necessarily the same vibe when you say, all right, I got the 49ers plus the 3, and you sit there the whole game wondering and waiting and waiting and wondering and beeping and flashing, as opposed to, oh, man, I got it here. I got $5 that says that they get 2 first downs on this drive. Or I get $5 that this guy is going to, rush for the first down in this drive. The immediacy of it, you bet $5 here on a first down or $5 there on a free throw or $5 here on they'll be leading at the 15-minute mark of the second half. It probably evens out at the very end of, if you bet $100 on a game, just betting, on the spread, it's no different financially than betting, $5 here, $5 there, 20 times during a game, and you get a little bit more immediacy to it. You don't have to sit there and wait. Boy, I hope they cover this game. Are we covering yet? No. I mean, it's just the little stuff, right?
And you can even do it in the stands at a game on your phone. How about that? Barry, I can remember like it was yesterday, the late, great Johnny Williams, who was here in Montgomery, that, of course, headed up the Camellia Bowl and, of course, was at Troy and at Alabama and many other spots. He was telling me about this 10 years ago, and I thought, Johnny, no way. There's no way that's going to be happening. He goes, I'm telling you. And he was connected with the ESPN people. They were telling him what was going to happen. Right. And I went, really? He goes, oh, yeah, you're going to be able to sit in a stadium and wager on the next play. I went, wow. I never thought I'd hear that. And here we are today, and it is happening. Hey, as we're waiting for Travis Ryer on YouTube, talking Tide, he's going to join us here in a moment. Our starting five today, Barry, is Texas A&M. The Aggies of Texas A&M. We are going to go through every school in the SEC. Tomorrow will be our last one, Vanderbilt. We're going in alphabetical order. We've been through every school, and we're up to Texas A&M today. The Aggies, who had a pretty good year last year, they're excited there in College Station.
They were 11-2 last year, 7-1 in the SEC. I'm not familiar enough with tiebreakers and stuff to know why they didn't go to the SEC championship, and Alabama did. But, Mike Elko had them 7-1 in the SEC. They were 11-1. They were a gutty team. They beat they started out what? They started out 11-0, and then they lose at Texas.
Not good.
Final game of the year. But they make the playoff. Okay. Hey, we're hosting a first-round game. Look at that. We're at College Station. We're in the college football playoff. We're hosting. Miami, we got Miami. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, and you probably should have slept in because that was a snooze fest. Miami ends up winning it 10-3, so Texas A&M is one and done in the college football playoff. At least Alabama won a game for you. So they finished 11-2 last year, but they ended up 0-2 in their final.
Yeah, that's when it counts. That is when it counts, and that was tough for Aggie fans. But this year, Bear, they're excited, rejuvenated. And they got 3 home games to start out with their starting 5. Actually, 4 of their first 5 are at home.
I love Texas A&M this year. The 2 teams that I think people really need to pay attention to are Texas A&M and LSU. Texas A&M returns a lot of guys. And like John said, their schedule's favorable. Missouri State at home to open. Arizona State. I don't think they're going to be as good. They lost their quarterback to LSU, by the way.
Yeah.
That's week 2. Kentucky, week 3 at Kyle Field. Then the one that could really set the tone for the entire season. And that's LSU in Baton Rouge in week 4.
Yeah, true.
Before welcoming in Arkansas in week 5. John, I'll go ahead and say it. I'm bullish on the Aggies. They go 5-0
too. Going to Baton Rouge in week 4 could be a little testy.
Yeah.
Is Lane Kiffin ready for a matchup like that in the early season? But certainly Missouri State, Arizona State, Kentucky, all at home, all winnable. Arkansas as well, winnable. Only game that I might have to think about is at LSU, their first road game of the season. But 4-1, maybe 5-0, certainly a possibility. And then after that, Barry, it doesn't get a lot more difficult either. They do go to Alabama in late October. I believe that's the week after the Tennessee game for Alabama. Could be catching the Tide at a good time there. South Carolina, so what? Tennessee, still not real sure about them either. Oklahoma, do they have any defense there in Norman yet? And then, of course, they host Texas. So, yeah, this could be a pretty special year for the Aggies.
I agree. I've got them 5-0 in their starting 5.
Yeah, that could certainly happen. So, Texas A&M might be a team you got to look out for. I think the schedule really sets up well. Not overly impressed with their non-conference schedule. The Citadel, Arizona State, Missouri State. Really? Those are the 3 teams you put on your non-con?
The Citadel has always intrigued me. I mean, they got football. They're a publicly funded military school in middle of nowhere, South Carolina. How are they competitive? I mean, it's
Barry,
not like
it's
going
good,
to Army or going to, the Naval Academy or going to the air. It's the Citadel. And I, one of my old bosses, John Hartwell, former athletic director at Troy, was from the Citadel. And I've always wanted to ask him, what is up with them? How do they even draw anybody there? No
one
girls?
of my longest lifelong friends graduated from the Citadel. Went to high school here in Montgomery. Went to the Citadel. Went and visited him when he was over there a couple of times.
Yeah.
It is a different college experience. I can promise you that. It's a lot different than the one that I experienced in Tuscaloosa. Promise you that.
180
he graduated
degrees.
from the Citadel, went into the Army, was an Army Ranger. And now he's in private business in Atlanta, where he has been for many, many years. Barry, that's the friend of mine that I go over to Atlanta and play in that golf tournament with every year.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
He is still competitive today at 62 as he was in the Army at 22. I can promise you.
I don't doubt it.
I promise you that. Hey, our man Travis Ryer here with us today, as always on Tuesday. Appreciate Travis's time hopping on with us. Travis, how you doing today? Thanks for being with us on this Tuesday.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Doing really, really well. Always great to have you on. Alabama on a real run. They have a chance to finish. They're not catching Florida. Finish second in the SEC. Dicey game tonight against Georgia. What's been impressing you about Tide basketball?
Their ability to go on the road and win pretty much everywhere other than Florida. They lost the 2 home games to Texas and Tennessee, and typically when you do that, that means you're going to have to go out and replace those with wins on the road, and they've got 6 SEC road wins going into tonight. So a lot of those are games that you sort of expected them to win, or they would be expected to win, like LSU, like Ole Miss, like Oklahoma. They took care of business with those games, but then, they also won in some tough places. Won at Tennessee, obviously, on Saturday night, and won at Auburn. At a time when Auburn looked like they were still capable of playing some good basketball down the stretch. So, that's what I would say. And LeBaron Philon, the key to this team, obviously, when you think about a tournament run or anything like that, it's got to start with him.
Yeah, no doubt. Incredible game. And one thing that I've picked up on as well, Travis, I'm sure you have too, not only can Alabama win and win on the road, they can win on the road by being down double digits at halftime.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing, especially after how they were bludgeoned on the defensive glass in the first half.
Yes.
I mean, call the cops, with what happened in the first 20
I was
minutes.
talking yesterday. There was one series where Tennessee got 5 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, and it's, I know Nate always goes back to effort. I think this team tries. They just, they are not made up in a way. You can effort and try hard all you want, but you basically have one legitimate post player on your roster right now in Aiden Sherrill. And while he is a solid rebounder, I wouldn't say he's prolific. He's not Rodman-like. He isn't twitchy. So if he doesn't have position and kind of is in the right place at the right time, it's going to be hard for him sometimes to rebound on the defensive glass. And I really think he's made a lot of progress. Don't get me wrong, but just in terms of their makeup, if they don't send 5 to the glass against teams like Tennessee and Arizona and Florida, it's going to be hard for them.
Yeah.
So where are the potential pitfalls? I think one of them might be injuries. They're doing all this and they're not even close to healthy, Travis.
Right, and that's been impressive too, how they've sort of navigated all of that. And even Philon right now, as we've heard from Nate, isn't 100%, probably isn't going to be for the rest of the season. So, that's a tough situation when your best player even is dealing with that. But they've dealt with it roster-wide. It's affected them, no doubt, probably more so in the front court because of the guys they still have down in that regard. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to be guard heavy. They're going they're going to be one of those March teams that you hear about. They'll go as far as their guards can really take them. And so that's what you worry about a little bit is, when they run up, draws everything. I know everybody's at this point talking, wow, maybe a 3 seed, maybe a 4 seed. Where are they going to be seated? It's going to come down to their draw, because if they see a team kind of like an Arizona again, or a Florida, or a Michigan that can run them off the 3-point line and into size at the basket, other than Phylon, they're going to probably have a hard time finishing around the rim.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I agree. It's where they're bracketed, who they're going up against. Going to have a ton to do with it, because even though they've come back from some big deficits, and Phylon and Holloway and those guys are filling it up, and heck, they all are. It's just amazing how well they've been shooting the ball. But as we said yesterday, I mean, don't look at the stat sheet, because you'll never believe Alabama won the game against Tennessee based on that stat sheet, but they were able to find a way to win it. And the matchups are going to be huge.
Yeah, it balanced to Alabama's favor in the final 6-7 minutes, because Tennessee has blown some big leads this year too.
Yeah.
So, as you said earlier, Alabama has shown a propensity to come back and get the job done late in games. Well, Tennessee's kind of been the polar opposite of that situation. And again, going back to draws like last year, they had a great draw to get to the 8, and that was a better team. And they saw a BYU team in the 16 that played zone against them. I mean, you're not going to get that, year in and year out. So that's why it's so important.
We were talking late last week, after we talked with you last, real briefly about the NFL Combine and its value. I've been seeing some chat since the Combine ended up there in Indianapolis that the NFL Combine is going to go away in a few years, because you can accomplish what you want to accomplish scouting wise without getting everybody together in Indianapolis. But one of the takeaways out of the whole thing is that the reports are, anyway, Travis, that Ty Simpson had cemented himself with his combine performance as definitely the number 2 draftable quarterback behind Mendoza. Does that seem plausible to you?
I think it does, because I felt all along that if Ty was going to come out this year, this was the draft. This was a great draft to do it. I mean, once you got even behind Mendoza, and there's some people even that are talking about Ty as being right there with Mendoza, or maybe a guy they would take over Mendoza. I don't know about that, but just in terms of the general depth, and especially once Dante Moore, who I felt like really needed another year anyway, but there was talk about Dante Moore coming out in this draft. He stays in school. That just made the decision look even smarter. I think there are some guys like Garrett Nussmeier that as pros could be surprisingly better once they get into the league than maybe folks thought they would be. But there's no guarantees of that. So Ty's 7 or 8 game stretch of tape there to start the season, or at least from week 2 to about week 9, really, really impressive. And he did it week in and week out. He did it against good competition like Georgia and some other teams. So, I think it was a good decision for Ty to make the jump when he did.
Yeah, I've heard some really positive stuff coming out of Indianapolis.
Well, and him measuring in excess of 6 foot, I think that was a big part of it. There were questions about the size. I've always said he's sort of going to follow that Brock Purdy path. That's how I see him, as more of a Brock Purdy type in the NFL. Now, Purdy obviously was Mr. Irrelevant the year he came out.
He was the last guy.
Pick. Yeah. I don't think Ty's going to have to wait that long.
On the other side of things, and I'm not trying to lead you into a comment or anything, but the measurables, the sheer potential has never been deniable for Caden Proctor. Yep. Do you think he'll be a good pro?
Wait and see on Caden. I think it also depends on, do you see him as a tackle or you see him as a guard? I think in terms of immediate impact, a guard, I could see that for him. if you're going to try to play him at left tackle, that's when I have some sort of Evan Neal, sort of J.C. Latham, maybe concerns for him a little bit.
Yeah.
But I did like that, it looks like he's dropped at least some weight during the draft process. As we know, going into last season, he was upwards of 370. I think he's down around 350 now, which, isn't a considerable drop, but I think it's a good thing, a positive, because, you got to take into account you're projecting what does football really mean to a lot of these guys too,
Yeah.
And so how you show up, to me, how you show up for weigh-in says a lot about, that. And so I think Caden, again, at the right position, probably more mid to the 20s in the selection process, I'd feel good about him.
Travis, Friday, the president has invited about 35 to 40 sports celebrities, commissioners, media types, whatever, to the White House to have a college athletics roundtable, the future of college athletics. Do you expect much to come of that?
No. It'll be a hell of a photo op, though.
Yeah.
Have you checked your email for spam, your spam folder or anything, Travis?
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get an invite.
The McDonald's spread will be elite,
true.
So we know that. But that's it. No. In a short answer, come on.
No.
What's really going to get done? It's politics, I think, in a lot of ways, and in terms of substance, very little.
Every group like that, every board I've been a part of, I've always thought we got too many people on this board. You got 40 people coming to this thing.
Well,
you don't need 40.
Which tells you it's going to be like a damn team picture. Saban's going to be in the middle holding the football, and with Trump, and they'll be surrounded by the team captains. They'll have a couple of captains on either side, and they'll have them staggered. They'll have them in rows, just like the damn team picture. That's what it's a photo op. That's all.
I mean, there. I will admit there are far more important things going on in the world than this right now.
Really? I didn't. I didn't know that.
It's like John going back to the house, back on campus, and they're looking back at the old pictures, of John's, of John's class, of John's pledge class, and it was like, oh, who is that dude?
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's going to be that guy in there that they're going to have the big photo. I'm going to think, I get Saban, I get Tebow. Who's that guy over there on the end?
Yeah.
Oh, it don't matter.
Maybe they'll play some, touch football, flag football.
Mm.
On the lawn.
Yeah, I wondered when Barry brought this up last week. Then later the week we'll go over all who's supposed to be there. But I'm thinking, first of all, you got way too many people. Nothing's going to get done. It just irritates me to no end.
I try to know as little about a lot of that kind of stuff as possible.
I'm with
but
you.
Even I know there's been some more important stuff going on in the last.
I would
week
think
or
so. Hey, now listen, before we let you go, I want to make sure I've touched on them all. Bent Creek and Fernandina West on par 3 driver guy. I mean, awesome. The additions to the tour of golf around Northwest Florida.
Yeah, it's
Northeast
fun to
Florida.
get out, and went to some old haunts. I hadn't been to Bent Creek in about 30 years. A Bobby Weed design.
Nice.
It's tricked up. Look, no disrespect.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. Start recording here. Golf courses from the late 80s and into the 90s were the worst. Golf course design from that era is just because it was all predicated on residentials, areas. It had nothing to do with the golf. And so that's kind of Bent Creek. I still kind of feel that way about it.
You mean they build a neighborhood, and by the way, let's see if we can cram a golf course in here while we're at it.
Can we get a par 4.5 in here, right here? It's.
Well, I will say this, Travis. I don't know if you've ever thought about being one of the commentators on Golf Channel, but your description and play-by-play is very, very good.
I appreciate that. I'm passionate about the golf. I would absolutely. I've always said if I didn't cover college sports or football, golf, I've told the wife many times over the last 15, 20 years, be ready, because even if I had the opportunity to cover Korn Ferry the Champions Tour, not even the big tour, I'd go do it in a heartbeat. I'd be gone.
How long was that? How long was that putt for par? You had a chip that came up a little short.
Yeah.
You drained about a 25, 30 foot.
Yeah, it was 25 feet. The thing is, par 3 driver guy is a lot better putter than Travis is. So I guess that's good because all people see is par 3 driver guy.
Yeah.
And he makes putts. But once it's back to me, it's not good with the putter. So that was a real positive. Yeah, my nephew Austin had a nice birdie on that par 3 out at Fernandina. He's a stick, and I like the strike of the golf ball. I like the audio of it. So if you'll notice, I turn that way up when people. I call
and
it
the tracker. Is it also a nice feature?
Yeah, we put the tracer on it. And
I like that.
We got the what we call the strike mic, so you can hear that strike. You know,
I like it.
Check it out.
They were very good.
I'm giving away things to the tour now. Strike mic. Yeah.
Outstanding.
Awesome.
What's going on lately at Ryer on YouTube?
Yeah, we're gonna have we will, speaking of golf, have cart golf tonight with Casey Smith, and then we'll have second helping coming up on Thursday night with Brent Beard. I know you guys have been doing something similar. We're sort of trying to find wins for SEC teams in 2026. We've done Alabama. That show is archived with second helping. We did Florida last week. We're going to do the Auburn Tigers on Thursday night. We're going to find some wins for Alex Golish in year 1.
There you go. Also, as a Travis Ryer on YouTube. I am team deviled eggs, by the way. Big time.
I've come around to them.
There you go.
We've got some good ones at Party Girl in Jacksonville. I didn't like them. But now I've actually learned how to make them the right way due to Chef Heather. And I like them now. Now they're very simple. It's just mayonnaise.
Don't
mustard,
overdo it.
Sweet relish, and that's about it. That's all we do. But the mayo consistency with the deviled eggs is important, kind of like it is with chicken salad,
Beautiful. Man, I love a deviled egg as well. I'm with you.
Yeah, we sell a lot of them. I'm kind of surprised, but we had one customer that would come in and give us grief about not having deviled eggs. So just to shut him up, we started making deviled eggs. And then people were like, "Oh, deviled eggs." We were like, "What have we been thinking or not thinking?" So,
that's too good.
That's so Brooks. Yeah,
good
love
stuff. Travis Ryer on YouTube. Appreciate the time as always.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
You too, buddy. Great insight. Great interview always with Travis Ryer. Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide. So much content. Check him out. All right, Barry, when we return, we're really excited about our next guest. Joe Maloney is president and CEO of the Sports Betting Alliance. We talk a lot about sports betting here on this show. And Joe's going to join us when we return.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's here. Victoryland Casino's Corvette 25K giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust. Okay, we're at the bottom of the hour here on a Tuesday, and certainly excited to welcome in our next guest. His name is Joe Maloney. He's the president and CEO of Sports Betting Alliance. Joe, thank you so much for joining us here today. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me on, gentlemen.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the Sports Betting Alliance. What's it all about?
So we are a trade advocacy organization. We have 5 members. They're 5 of the largest online sportsbook operators, legal and regulated online sports betting operators here in the U.S. That's FanDuel, DraftKings, Bet365, Fanatics, and BetMGM. We advocate for 3 things primarily, so it's pretty easy. 1, expand the number of states that offer legal and regulated online sports wagering. 2, we also work to expand legal and regulated online casino games. Only about 7 states currently have that throughout the U.S. And then finally, in states where online sports betting has actually already been legalized, we continue the stakeholder engagement to ensure we don't have too many market restrictions, taxes don't increase too much, they don't try to eliminate or narrow legal betting markets, some of the trends you see around the country. So we work to protect the product once it goes live.
Joe, you mentioned that regulated. I think that's a key word, a very important word. I'm sure you've heard this before. Per capita, there is more illegal wagering, whether it's sports wagering, whether it's any type of wagering, done in the state of Alabama than any state in the union. We just want it regulated. We want it offered, but we want it regulated. That is a very important aspect.
Yeah, I think what's important for, Alabama residents to understand, and for a number of Alabama stakeholders who already understand this, no one is forcing anyone in the state to invent gambling. Gambling is already happening. You're going to be making a choice through your leadership, throughout the state to hopefully enable this, to regulate it, to tax it, and to then take those revenues and dedicate them to some critical priorities that, leaders in the jurisdiction across the state deem important. And that's been really what has driven the momentum around legalized sports wagering since the Supreme Court overturned the federal ban. In now 40 states plus the District of Columbia, Democrats and Republicans came together and acknowledged that Americans have been betting on sports as long as there have been sports to bet on, and not all of them got on planes and flew to Vegas. So, this is stuff that's been done through a bookie. This is stuff that's been done through now in the internet era with offshore, websites domiciled in Costa Rica and Curacao. Unfortunately, online settings that don't embrace consumer protections, violate your privacy, might not pay out your winnings, hide your deposits. Your winnings go missing somehow, some way. And when you're betting in those types of environments, you can't pick up the phone and call your attorney general and ask for help. They're going to tell you, hey, there's nothing I can do. I don't have diplomatic authority to get on a boat and go over to these places and get your money back. So what happens in legal, protected, and regulated environments like those you see in these 40 states and the District of Columbia, regulation. There's over 8,000 state and tribal regulators that are cops on the beat that make sure the companies that I represent follow the duties and obligations of the law, that they serve consumers in a responsible way, that they promote integrity, and that ultimately provide all the transparency so taxes get remitted and go back to state governments.
Do you have any insight into how the unregulated state of sports gaming in America impacts young people specifically, Joe?
Yeah, and thanks for the question. In sports wagering alone, illegal and unregulated is about $84 billion enterprise here right now in the United States.
Whoa.
And the reason why is because it's just too easy, gentlemen. There's no age and identity verification. And if there is on some of these websites, it's perfunctory at best. It's click here if you're 18 or older. And then, and so it is a perfunctory exercise. any young person, that has their parents' credit card somehow or bank account information can just go online, and there's none of the age and identity verification. The prevailing age to legally wager in this country is 21 by and large. And what does that mean in a legal regulated environment? It means when you go to open an account on one of the apps that I happen to represent, your age and identity is verified. What does that mean? Upon account setup, you have to provide either a driver's license number or the last 4 digits of your social security code. That's then run against public databases to ensure that identity, okay? Then once you take the next step of actually making a deposit, you then have a second layer of age and identity verification that's actually pursuant to federal regulation, anti-money laundering compliance, it's called AML compliance. That ensures that a verified bank account that is tied to the identity of the account setup also is correctly linked, also provides that second layer of age and identity verification. So that way, if there's anything nefarious going on about your source of income that you're using to bet, that can also be tracked. So it prevents criminal enterprises from using, these types of services to launder money, basically. And so these are also just so important, which means if you're underage on a legal regulated app, you're betting on proxy. A parent has allowed you to do this, which is a violation of the terms of service, or a young person is using an of-age family member or friend's identity to set up the account. And we can certainly have a conversation about the dangers of that and the work that our companies do to try to combat that. But ultimately, you got to be 21 to legally wager in this country.
I think that's so important, Joe, and I'm so glad Barry brought that up, because in an unregulated market, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't care. If you're in Costa Rica or some of these Caribbean nations that are unregulated, does not matter. But very stringent steps have got to be taken to identify yourself, prove your age. And not only with age, Joe, but I also understand that if things kind of get out of whack in terms of how much someone is wagering based on what they have been wagering in the past, trying to catch up, maybe chasing money, maybe getting themselves into a hole, that can also be monitored as well to stop the, compulsive gambler from getting out of hand.
Yeah, while the vast majority of individuals in this country can gamble in a casino or wager on an app in a responsible way, we've got to be on the lookout for folks whose behavior can become disordered. And again, gambling is an activity that can be problematic and it can be addictive. But I'm glad you brought this up. And really, the broader message we try to put forward is the importance of responsibility. But in addition to just providing tools and resources in legal regulated apps, time on app limits, wager limits, deposit limits, these are all things you can use. These are all tools and resources that you can adopt, even if you don't think you have a problem. Sometimes it's just a good thing to do. It's the difference between, I'm not sure if I'm going to have more than 1 or 2 drinks tonight, but I'm going to take a taxi or an Uber to the bar anyway.
Right.
And so this is just an idea to say, just in case, something happens in the game and I feel wronged and, I'm going to bet on that Sunday night game, and I never do that. I usually just tap out at 4:00, but the ending of that Broncos, Jaguars game really set me off. There's ways and tools you can adopt to prevent that. Second, our companies deploy technology to really understand these customers and understand our customers. They're data optimization tools that allow us to sort of observe patterns. So if I'm somebody that typically is depositing $10 and wagering $5, if suddenly at, let's say late in the evening after betting normal amounts throughout the entire day on an NFL Sunday, I suddenly deposit $100 and then bet $100 on the Sunday night game, we can serve an intervention to that customer and say, this is outside of your normal activity. Isn't it maybe time to take a break? And those are very, very important because you want to sort of create a little bit of friction in those moments for some of those customers that might be doing that. So again, there's all types of tools and resiliencies and redundancies that we can build into the system to account for some of that activity, none of which ever exists at an illegal or an unregulated app. They're happy to take that action. They love a customer that's chasing their losses, and they've got no investment in sustaining that customer over a longer period of time in the way in which our companies do.
Joe Maloney, we're visiting with him from the Sports Betting Alliance, a trade organization. I asked you a moment ago to provide perspective and a purview on the impact of illegal gambling on young people. I want to ask you to do this again. We're here in the state of Alabama where sports gaming is illegal. From your perspective and with your best guess, in terms of revenue generation, what's Alabama missing out on because we do not have sports gaming?
Sure. It's tens of millions of dollars, and potentially the construct around the taxation and the popularity of the product. You could be looking at somewhere between even up to $100 million annually. And these are important tax revenues that are going to great effect. And just as one example, one of your neighbors in the southern portion of the country, North Carolina, they're generating $150 million annually, and they're using that money for a lot of interesting things. They're, of course, accounting for the public health concerns and driving grants and funds to local organizations and increasing the clinical capacity to help those that need help with problem gambling. That's one. Two, they're delivering funds to their economic development entity, their commission, that allows them to attract major events, allows them to compete when the MLS puts out a bid for their All-Star game, or the NFL puts out a bid for their draft to come to your town. They're using those to support tourism. And this is a really interesting construct, gentlemen, which I know the folks in Alabama are particularly interested in because you're such a strong college sports state. They're delivering revenues back into university athletic departments, but not the ivory towers, not the Dukes, not the UNC Chapel Hills. It's the lower Division I schools that could use that funding to update a weight training facility, to have it go into NIL reserves to help support the recruitment of student athletes. But again, it's to those universities in need of that funding, not to, some of the more ivory towers that I mentioned. And so there's all types of novel concepts and constructs. There's a conversation right now in Georgia about, legalizing sports wagering, and they see potential tax revenue to deliver pre-K across the entire state for young people. So there's all types of opportunities. It's not our job to tell states what to do with this gaming tax revenue. That's for the leaders in the state to decide, but there's all types of interesting novel concepts. And yes, Alabama is, as a state, punting on, again, upwards of $50 million annually in tax revenue that can support some really critical priorities.
All right, so I'm going to give you a personal opinion about it, Joe, and then I'm going to ask you a question. And I've said this statement for years. They're fooling us. Our politicians, we're flush with money. We don't need any new schools. We don't need to repair bridges. We don't need to build new prisons because we got plenty of money, because we would be tapping into this gaming revenue if we weren't broke. So obviously we've got plenty of money. We know that's not true. So why is Alabama not doing this? Is it outside influence that's getting to these politicians to tell them don't put it on the ballot because we know it'll pass? I'm banging my head up against the wall wondering, in a state that already likes to gamble, why are they not taking advantage of this?
Yeah, it's a great question. First of all, there's two reasons why states have come together and do this. One, consumer protection from illegal and unregulated, which we've already covered. And two is tax revenue. Getting there isn't a straight line. Really what it demands is just this multi-stakeholder dialogue. You've got to engage all of the different constituencies that might have concerns or could have some competing obligations within a framework of legalized gambling. This country, through its federalist embracing of government, we allow for the platform of legal regulated gambling to take place in the states. And that's for good reasons. When you platform an activity such as gambling, you're going to do it in a way that benefits the residents of your state and also protects them. So there have been some states that have been slower to adopt just even commercial casino gaming or tribal casino gaming. So ultimately what it comes down to in a jurisdiction like Alabama, and Alabama's not alone, Georgia, Texas, California, Minnesota, these are the jurisdictions that we're focused on. It's a multi-stakeholder dialogue. You've got casinos in the state, you've got land-based casinos, you have tribes in the state. You also have a number of constituencies in traditionally conservative states that are absolutely, for good philosophical reasons, concerned about legalized gambling. So we've just got to continue the hard work and that multi-stakeholder dialogue. We're not saying anybody's right or wrong. What we're just trying to point out is the risks right now to vulnerable populations with illegal and unregulated gambling, the opportunity to deliver some tax revenue, and a way to platform this in a truly distinct Alabama type of way. Alabama does not need to take its cues from anybody else in this country when it comes to how to platform any type of service, legal and regulated, to the citizens of their state. So they're just taking their time and they're working through that multi-stakeholder dialogue. But we're clearly seeing more and more momentum, and we're just continue to be hopeful.
Joe Maloney, president and CEO of the Sports Betting Alliance, advocating for all 50 states legalizing sports gaming. We, of course, will have this for our viewers and listeners on demand ad infinitum. You can find out more about the SBA and about Joe's work at sportsbettingalliance.org/about. This has been very compelling and very informative. Thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, and Joe,
Thanks,
was anything we missed that you wanted to touch on before we let you go?
Well, just good luck to your college-bound tournament teams in the state. I know it's an exciting time of year. Alabama has seemingly become a basketball capital in this country, so I'll be eagerly watching your teams play. And hopefully, the next time we do this, I can be in studio and have a Bud Light with you both.
Oh,
hey,
you better believe it. Of course, with the tournament rolling around, it'd be nice to be able to wager on these, Joe. Maybe one day we'll be able to do it legally and regulated. That would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it very much. Joe Maloney, again, sportsbettingalliance.org/about to get involved.
Yeah, and you know, Barry, we've talked about it for so much. It's the unregulated gambling that we're trying to eliminate. We don't need it. You just, regulated gaming, everybody's on the same page. You're not dealing with somebody in a Caribbean nation that doesn't care how old you are or how much you're gambling. If your gambling patterns change and get crazy, regulated gaming watches out for that. And they're very on top of it. And the tax revenue that it generates, I thought that was very interesting, Barry, talking about, the money that it could generate for not the Dukes and the UNCs of the world, but, the East Carolinas and the North Carolina A&Ts that need it.
It's a very compelling argument. That is for sure. Coming up, more in just a moment. Not sure about the Victoryland 777 topic wheel, but we've got a lot still to come with Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Montgomery
Stivers for the The Start Something New sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokee's under 30 grand or up to 15 grand off. Wranglers 12 grand off and Gladiators 16 grand off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The Start Something New sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 CDJR dealer. New Rams 19 grand off or 0% for 6 years. And heavy duties 12 grand off. Backed by Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is Central Alabama's best-known jewelry store. Their location at 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree is conveniently located adjacent to Chappie's Deli. At Marguerite's, they have every jewelry item imaginable because they make it. They really make it. From rings, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and much, much more. Marguerite's can also repair, clean, and rework any jewelry item that you want to bring back to life. Whether you're on a budget or have no budget at all, Marguerite's has all types of jewelry for everyone. Go by and see them today or call 270-0074.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Well, hey, here we go. About 11 minutes to the top of the hour. Barry, we've been busy today with Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com, Travis Ryer on YouTube, Par 3 Driver Guy, and Joe Maloney, President CEO of the Sports Betting Alliance. I feel a little educated today. I feel like I've learned a few things.
Speaking about feeling educated and feeling, like you've learned a few things, what about a quick drop in for the Phantoms Daily Dog?
Yeah.
Or, if we want to
we've been so busy today. I want to do it. Yeah. No. Got to do it. And I guess you noticed a lot of smart alecks out there early on the River Region Straw chat line. Okay. All right. It's going to be that way.
Buffalo Bob and Howdy Doody used to call it the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah.
70 years ago.
That's how you want to play it, huh? Okay. Barry, wasn't a good night. Iowa State went into Tempe, Arizona last night, where the red hot Arizona Wildcats took care of business 73-57.
Well, that's it's Tucson, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Arizona with the win wins the Big 12 regular season championship. Iowa State was this close. Now, was the Phantom, did he give two toots at all about Iowa State winning the Big 12 championship?
Could care less.
No, now that they didn't cover.
Barry, they lose by 16 here?
Yeah. Then I'm glad they didn't win the Big 12 regular
I'm glad they didn't win the Big 12, and I wish they would have gotten beat by 36 instead of 16. I mean, if you're not going to cover for me, I hope you get humiliated, embarrassed. You just run out of the gym, which might have happened. But they didn't cover. So, tonight, Barry, this one I find interesting. Time to move on. We don't need to harp on that one.
Yeah.
We have a lot of SEC action tonight. I mean, every team's playing but two. How about this little matchup?
Ooh, which one catches his
The Missouri Tigers are heading to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. Let me see what we got here.
ESPNU.
6 o'clock ESPNU. Now, Missouri, Barry, currently in fourth place in the SEC at 10-6 in the conference, 20-9 overall. Not bad.
Oklahoma, meanwhile, is in the Auburn-esque position of, man, they need wins. They're 15-14 overall, 5-11 in the SEC, thanks to a win over Auburn last week. So they're on the outside looking in.
Yeah, they
Oklahoma
are.
At home really needs this.
And Missouri is catching 2.5 on the road tonight. 2.5. Whoa. What is going on here?
Whoa.
We're taking them. We're taking the Missouri Tigers, still scratching and clawing to get that better seed in the tournament. Oklahoma just fiddle farting around, hoping to get something. Hoping don't work. You can't hope.
No.
You got to go out there and deliver.
Do it. Yeah.
So Missouri is going to, they might even win the game outright tonight, but we're catching 2.5, 6 o'clock. I got to go quad box tonight, Barry. I got a 5-game, 5:30, 2 6 o'clock games.
And Jesse Waters.
And then I got to go sit out in the driveway at about 10:30 tonight. Unbelievable.
Listening for the Auburn game. There you go. That is our Phantoms Daily Dog, which dovetails nicely into the world-famous, often imitated, never duplicated Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, brought to you by Victoryland Casino, exit 22, I-85 in Shorter, Alabama. We've got 6 topics that Gurn has supplied on the wheel.
Right.
No idea what any of them are. Here we go.
What coming up next? Victoryland, where you can be a winner too.
We start off with new digs. What do they call a new house? And what do they call it?
Digs. What we got here?
Digs. Oh, I didn't realize they were doing that. I thought the Browns had a new stadium.
Really?
My buddy Gunner, my buddy Hunt. I mean, are they building a Brown Dome?
Didn't they just build a stadium in Cleveland?
That's what I thought. You know, all right, they're building a dome for the Cleveland Browns so the people inside don't have to look outside the stadium and see Cleveland.
At least you can be comfortable watching the Browns lose football games.
Yeah, because they always used to play at that god-awful municipal stadium right on Lake Erie where they set Major League, the movie, and I mean, it was always miserable. It was rainy. The wind coming off. It smelled. Lake Erie one time caught fire near Cleveland.
No way.
Because it's so nasty.
Yeah.
I did not know. We not only is this for entertainment purposes, it's for informational purposes.
You got that right.
Oh, the Browns are building a dome. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's awesome. Good stuff there.
All right.
Good pull. What comes
now?
Up next? Good ticket.
Good ticket.
That's a free ticket in my book.
Good ticket. Whoa. You can get into Busch Stadium for St. Louis Cardinals game. John, that's a Major League Baseball team. $29, all you can eat or drink. Bottomless concessions and soft drinks.
That sounds like UAB football that's giving away 4 tickets, 4 programs, 4 Cokes, 4 hot dogs, and a parking pass for $40.
The new concession stand has most, but not all, of the classic ballpark snacks. Soft drinks, hot dogs, chicken tenders, popcorn, ice cream. One thing fans may notice is missing from this $29 bottomless thing. Alcoholic beverages.
Well, true. They're not going to let you drink for free.
That
ain't gonna happen.
That reminds me of what happened at Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina, they say they'll sell you a ticket at Coastal Carolina football, unlimited concessions.
Yeah, Barry, there was a city that gave away free beer last summer, and things didn't go well. So you shouldn't do that.
All right. There
let's
you go.
move on. 4 more to go. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I love it.
John has said this many times. Looking ahead, which is what the Phantom believes in doing.
Yeah, looking ahead and scheduling off days far in advance. Yes. Okay.
All right. Fans erupt with jokes after U.S. Open's course announcement.
Oh, I missed this. Where are we playing?
Never too early. The United States USGA announced U.S. Open will go to Inverness Club in Toledo.
Toledo
in 2045.
Woo!
Which, if you take a look, yeah, that is 19 years from now. And all the fans are like, "Great! I'll make sure my grandkids are aware."
I don't think Alabama football is scheduled that far in advance.
I mean, 2045.
I got to tell you, Barry, I like my U.S. Opens on the West Coast. Because I like to be able to watch the U.S. Open in prime time, not in the afternoon. So the more they play out west for the U.S. Open, I'm good with.
Yeah. Like John says, he likes his martini with a pearl onion, and he likes his U.S. Opens out west.
Let's get out of these wet clothes and into a dry martini.
But seriously, I just hit a water buffalo. Can I borrow a towel? But seriously, 24, why do that? Why do that? 2045?
A lot could happen between now and 2045.
There'll be a 32-team college football playoff by 2045.
Could be.
Let's go back.
We could be anchoring Sports Center by then. You never know.
At 80 years old.
Yeah. All right. What do we got? It is
major trade.
Ooh,
I may not have heard this.
Let's see.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders. I think their best player is Max Crosby, their defensive end.
Yep.
He's not a free agent, but he's gonna be. He is their most marketable guy. So what do you do? They're terrible. They stink out loud. They got a new coach. They're going to get a new quarterback, but they need more players. So you trade him. You get some players in, maybe help, because it doesn't look as though he's going to re-up with the Raiders in a couple of years anyway. Might as well get him while his market value is high. Sure. The Cowboys, all of the rich teams, Cowboys, Bears, Ravens, Bills, Patriots, Eagles, and Rams.
Unfair. Grossly unfair.
The Cowboys. Jeez.
Yeah. All right. 2 more to go. Let's see what we got here on the Gurn Junior Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. Brought to you by Victoryland, where you can be a winner too.
2 left. I think, believe it or not, they are blue and red.
Yeah, nice.
Final 2 topics.
What do we got?
Chaos on the course.
Uh-oh. Let's check this out.
You've seen that happen.
Can I run off
Jess
course?
McClain ran off the course. Half marathon. I've run half marathons before. She could have won 20,000, but evidently the signs weren't clearly marked. She was well ahead of the pack, 2 miles to go. She's thinking, this is great.
Yeah.
But the lead vehicle goes off course.
Not her fault.
Really? I mean, she's following the lead vehicle, and everybody else is like, where in the world is she going? No, don't turn. No, you're.
Yeah.
I actually had that happen. I won a half marathon, a 5K in Auburn one time because the old geezer they had at the traffic cone was supposed to point everybody right.
Ooh.
And he pointed the Beauregard High School cross-country team left. And so I beat them all because they were out there over by Kiesel Park or something. That was the only reason why I won. Be careful out there.
Oh, you'd have won anyway. Come on. Don't
That's
sell
what I
yourself
keep telling
short. Come on.
everybody.
Yeah.
All right. One more.
One more to go. Got to spin it to make it official here on the
No.
Victoryland 777 topic, Will.
Chicken chips. What the
No
heck are chicken chips?
Chicken chips.
No chicken chips.
Or chicken lips. Huh.
Dog owners in 5 states, including a popular pet treat, all natural chicken chips for dogs. 100% real, whole chicken breast. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, what's going on?
Salmonella contamination.
Not good. Didn't Auburn have a punter a tight end named Salmonella?
His name was Sal Cannella.
Oh, Sal
It's a
Cannella.
disease, Jimmy.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Salmonella. Have you ever had food poisoning? I haven't. My wife has, and man, she washes her hands like a crazy person these days.
If I have, I don't. Maybe it was food poisoning, but I confuse it with alcohol poisoning. I don't know. Who knows?
Now, if Elite Treats Chicken Chips wants to advertise on this program, we'll let them do so.
Yeah.
Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. But clear up the salmonella before.
We'll get those sales back to where you want them.
You got that right.
All right, Barry, tomorrow. What a great day today, man. Brian Matthews,
good.
Travis Schreier, Joe Maloney from Sports Betting Alliance. Tomorrow, we're going to, I think we're going to have the new dad, CJ Duncan, is going to join us tomorrow. Maybe the Moneyline Magician if he's not traveling. I think he's free tomorrow. So we got a lot to check in on. And then we'll be recapping all of these SEC basketball games from tonight.
Auburn better win. Auburn better win.
Yeah.
For Joe Maloney, President and CEO of the Sports Betting Alliance, Travis Schreier from Ryer on YouTube, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, our executive producer, Gurn Jr., he's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.